Hello, my crafty friends. Welcome back to another tutorial for my Zoom class that was held on the 27th of March, 2022. And we made this really fun interactive pop-up swiper card. How cool is that? Just pops out from out, and it's all done by a little mechanism inside there. So I'm going to show you how to make that. So let's get started. Now, I've already put together some stuff so that it didn't, make the video too long, but it essentially is just a standard card fold. And I've just put a matte layer in here. So I'm not going to go through what those measurements are because I'm sure you all know how to do matte layers. So I've just put a blue matte layer here and then used the another paper layer and then a paper layer on top, and the green one is the reverse side of this Hip Hip Hooray. This is gorgeous paper. This is from the Cake Day collection that is in the March-April catalogue. It's available up until the end of April, and then it will just go online if there is anything left. But it's just beautiful. I love it. And it's actually an interactive card set too. This is the actual Stampin' Thin Cuts. And so this piece here will actually cut out. It's not really focusing there. So you cut that out and then it pulls out from the card. So I've used the stamps from the Stampin' Thin Cuts as well, and the papers from the Cake Day collection. And they're just fabulous. I just love them. Aren't they so bright? And that's using the colour that I used to stamp there is that Wildberry, which is the colour of the year for 2022. It's just a gorgeous colour. It's me. I love anything pink. And then I've just used some enamel dots there and a little bit of glitter glue just to give that a little bit of sparkle and shine. So I'll just show you how to do the mechanism inside. Like I said, the rest of this is just a normal card front, and this mechanism will work on any card that is vertical. It needs to be in its vertical state. Okay, so you need a piece that is 1 by 4 and a piece that is 1 by 3.5, and then a piece that is 1.5 by 1.5, and that makes up your mechanism. Now I've already done a mechanism here, so I can just keep referring back to it, but that's essentially the mechanism there, and it just all attaches itself to those bits there. So what you need to do on your 4-inch length, you need to score at 3 sorry, put that around the wrong way. 3/4 of an inch, 2 3/4 of an inch, 3.5 inches, and then come back up to the 1.5, the 1 3/4 mark, and do a score line, but just halfway, and then move across to the 2-inch mark and just put a little tick mark. See, I've just put a little tick mark there at the 2-inch, and then put a little tick mark at that score line you did at 3.5. And then this bit here, we just cut this out. So this is the half score line that come up here at the 1 3/4 mark, and we're just going to cut all of that away. And then we make a little mark up here on that 3.5 score line, and you just come down 1/4 of an inch. So I'll just cut this bit here away. You could do this with your trimmer as well if you wanted. We don't need that. And then just fold down all your score lines. And give them all a good burnish. Just had my, because this is a moving part, you want these to not catch on anything, and you want them to move freely. So just give them all a good burnish down. And then what we're going to do, where we did those pencil marks, so we put a pencil mark here at 1/4 inch. And then we did one here at 2 inches and one at 3.5. So when we scored along it, this was your 2-inch mark. This was your 3.5 inch score line, and we just came down 1/4 inch. And this is your, oh, sorry, I think I've got that wrong. So this was, yeah. So this is your 3/4 inch score mark. This was your 2 3/4 score mark. And on that 2 3/4 score mark, we came down 1/4 inch and just put a tick mark there. We also put a tick mark here at 2 inches and one here at the 3.5 inch mark. They're just little pencil tick marks. So that's what you want to end up with there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to score a line from this tick mark here down to this tick mark, and from the top again down to here. And just grab a ruler and a scoring tool. And you're just going to do a score mark there. And I'm just working on a mat here that has got a little bit of give. It's a self-healing mat, so it just makes it easier. You could do this on a mouse pad as well. And so that's what you now should have. And all we're going to do is we're going to crease the lines on these diagonals, and we're going to crease this line down here, and then it will all fold into place. So we've already done that one there. And then you just got to do a little pinch mark in on that score line. That's all you need. You just need to have a little pinch mark. And then when you go to fold it, it will automatically then just fold down. Then you're just going to burnish those score lines as well and make sure that they're nice and crisp. Because like I said, this is a moving part, so you do want to make sure that it will continue to keep folding. And that's what you end up with like that. And that's your mechanism, part of your mechanism. And then on the 3.5 by 1 inch, we're going to score at 1 inch, 2 inches and 3 inches, and just crease those score lines down. So that's an easy one. And then we have the 1.5 by 1.5 piece. And we're just going to come up 3/4 inch, out 3/4 inch, and take that piece out. So you end up with an L shape. Like that. And essentially this piece here will fold into, sorry, it attaches into, and I'll just have to refer back to my other one here. It attaches in on the top. So when it's like that, and then this piece here attaches into there. So can you see that? So when you've got this piece folded, with it folding in that way out to here, and then this L piece will just sit in and attach there, and that's part of that mechanism. Right, so now we just need to put it all together. So you want your 3.5 piece, and you want the 1 inch score line, the bigger score line here. And in the middle of your card, we also need to measure up 2.5 inches from the bottom, and just put a little check mark on your score line, on your fold line there. And that's just a reference mark for us. And so this piece, the 1 inch score line, so that would be 1 inch by 1 inch, is going to attach to there, out that way. So I use glue here. Could use tape. You just got to keep in mind it is a moving part. So just to the score line up to that pencil mark. Make sure that it's not interfering with your card closing. And give that a sec to dry. You don't want to get ahead of yourself there. Once that's dry, then we're going to attach this piece here. And it's going to sort of sit up like this, and it's going to form like a square. See that? So if you put glue onto here and lay it flat and then bring your card front over, it will then sit in the right spot. Just give that a minute to dry. Make sure your glue doesn't go over. And so you end up with a square. And then we just need to attach this piece on, and it sits like that in your card. You want it to sit, so you have the little, I think that's a 1/2 inch. Yep. So you have the little 1/2 inch piece there. Pretty sure that's right. Around the wrong way. Scored mine and pinched it all the wrong way. I had that's fine. We can fix that up. It has to sit a certain way for it to be able to work properly. Okay, so you want your V and this little where we marked up 1/4 inch to be at the bottom of the card, and this piece here will be attaching here, and this piece here attaches alongside here. So you want your, so you can see there, so you want the flaps to go out because they're going to attach, so it sort of looks a bit like that. So these flaps don't go up, they go down. So we're just going to put a bit of glue on this one here, and we attach it alongside the one we've just put on, right up to it and up to that fold line. Give that a minute to dry. Just checking out how to do this again. Okay, so with that folded over, we want to put glue onto here. We're just going to tuck that under. And it will attach itself to there. So just lay it out flat. Lay it out flat. And then this will push back in how it should go. just need to readjust. Right, done. All right, so that was right. You just need to make sure that when you close it down, because you're going to just put glue onto that other side. So when you're closing this bit down here, you're putting glue onto here and then you're letting it, so this one's already glued and then that's glued and then you're just folding your card. You just fold your card down and it will find its own spot, but just make sure that you have all of this folded down in there as well, and then it will look like that when it's finished. So I'll just go through that again. So you put glue onto here and then it attaches to this here, and it's right up to the fold line and right up against the one we just put on before. And then you put glue onto this piece here and it will just make sure it's tucked under and make sure these are folded in. And then you just simply fold the card over and let it find its spot and then hold that in place until it holds. And then this piece here is what your little wiper mechanism is going to sit on, and it just glues on to this bit here. So just put some glue to here. And it just sits up, and line it up to the crease line and the top. Give that a minute to set. Just make sure it all works. So that's how it all comes out there. And then all we've got left to do is to attach our pieces onto here and onto here. So it'd be easier to attach this one first. So this one is the wiper and it's going to attach onto this bottom piece here. Just onto there like that. See how it folds up into the card, you don't get to see it. And then we'll attach this piece onto here. Attaching about 1/4 inch up, and you want to don't put it right up to the edge there, just put it slightly off, and that's the advantage of using the same coloured cardstock for your mechanism as your base piece as well. Now don't put it onto here, just make sure you just do it onto that top one, and we're going to be just about 1/4 inch up. Just let that set. It's important to make sure these are set, especially when you're using glue, because you don't want it to, you want it to make sure it's holding. And then it all folds up. So that's the end card. So you know what gets better with age? You. How good is that? How good. I just love it. And then I've just decorated with the stamp sets. I've used the paper, let the paper do the work. I stamped up the banner here and just put an enamel dot on there. And again, just used, now with the word U, in the actual stamp set, the word U is vertical, but I wanted it to be horizontal. So I just did a bit of masking here and stamp these out individually. And then I'm going to go back and also put the glitter glue, and like how I've done on the front there. So this is from the Cake Day collection. If you are interested in getting anything from that collection, just jump on to my web store at Mary Howe, it's MaryHowe .closetomyheart.com.au. And it's from this catalogue, which is the March-April catalogue. And the papers that I've used are out of this gorgeous, gorgeous collection. This is the Cake Day. Absolutely beautiful, so bright. So there's so many funky things in this catalogue. That's the, they always do a scrapbooking and a card making. So this is this card that I was saying here. This is an interactive card. So this piece pulls out. How cool is that? So good. So jump onto my web store, maryhowe.closetomyheart.com.au, and if you see anything you like, I'd love you to support my channel. And have a look at the VIP program while you're there. It's a great way to save some money on your crafting supplies. So until next time, have a great fortnight, and I'll catch you in a fortnight's time. Bye for now.